Katrek and Maginnes on Tap is thrilled to partner with the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. Doing great work. Here's Jim McMahon.
So if you love golf like I do, think a golf course superintendent.
Thanks, Jim. We're pleased to be joined right now by the new president of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, Darren Davis. Darren, welcome to the program again. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate being on.
Well, talk about what you're looking forward to this year. You've had a couple of years of looking at it, knowing what it's going to be like, but now you're the president. What are you looking forward to most?
Yes, sir. Well, we have a phenomenal board. We're a board of 9. We have a terrific staff based in Lawrence, Kansas. And what I'm looking forward to is really just continuing the initiatives that we've already have in place. I'm a big believer in the team concept, and I believe together everyone accomplishes more. And we have 99 affiliated chapters of GCSAA, and bringing those chapters together as one is one of my passions, and unity is strength in numbers. So that's certainly one of my goals, and excited to get the year started.
Makes sense. All right, so the year has already started. You're down in Florida, and old Florida. I'm assuming that Naples doesn't really have much of a winter. What you can't get much of a break down there, can you?
Well, we had our winter from January 1 to January 11th this year. We get a little bit every year. But, yes, winter is our busy golf season. Summer is our active growing season. So we are a year-round operation. But winter is our busy time when it comes to golf. People love to be in South Florida this time of year.
For the rest of the country, it seems to us, well, they grow grass 365 days a year down there. It's got to be easy. What are some of the challenges to living down there?
Well, I mean, as you said, it's year-round growth, so there's no downtime. We're constantly going. We're in the summertime. We're doing our cultural practices, aerification, vertical mowing, top dressing, getting ready for our busy winter golf season. But although the weather in South Florida is phenomenal in the wintertime, especially compared to other parts of the country, what you have to realize, though, it's still winter, and the sun is in the lowest part of the sky. Our sun is less than it is in the summertime. So growing grass in the winter can be a challenge, especially when it's our busiest playing time. So that's our busiest challenge in the winter is keeping the grass growing and keeping it healthy and keeping our membership happy.
What is it like watching the club grow up as you grow up? You were hired there right when the course opened, and you've been there since you were 25.
I was hired, yes, sir. I was blessed to be in the right place at the right time and found a perfect fit. Back when I got in the business, the jobs were plentiful and superintendents moved frequently. It certainly has changed today. But as a young 25-year-old, I was happily employed as an assistant superintendent at Loxahatchee Club in Jupiter and loved being there. And received the call to come interview here and learned about the club and some phenomenal founding members that founded the club and just couldn't pass it up. And, I was young and aggressive back then, and I thought, well, I'll stay 5 years and I'll keep moving. And here I am 25 years later and in love with not only the job I have here, but the profession and the industry. And I just can't see myself doing anything else.
It's a Reese Jones course there. Talk about Reese and the golf course.
Yeah, Reese has been a good friend for 25 years. Reese, interestingly, went to school with my boss. They both went to an Ivy League school, actually with a former past president and an owner of a professional baseball team. So I was blessed we had that connection with Reese, and we've continued to tweak the golf course through the years. Like any good golf course, we want to keep up with the times and stay relevant. So Reese has come in and his staff in the last 25 years and periodically tweaked the golf course. As you know, the game, as people age, that changes the way they play the golf course. And we've, in the last 2 years, added 14 new tees on 8 holes to make the course play the way it was designed to play. As our membership has aged, as they're hitting it less distance, we need to make the course play the way it was designed to play. So we've done that and also added some bunkering through the years and continue to look at it because we're a golf-only facility. So that's what we have to sell. We have our golf course to sell with no pools, no homes, and no tennis. So to be relevant, we have to continue to provide a good golf experience to make us work.
Our guest is Darren Davis. He is the president of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, talking about the Old Florida Club where he is. And you talk about having a golf course evolve to fit its members and be friendly for the members. I'm reminded of something that I read that Bobby Jones wrote when he was designing the Peachtree Golf Club here in Atlanta. Basically a directive to Reese Jones's dad, Robert Trent Jones Sr. And, here's how we want things done, and the bunkers and the hazards and, the driving areas and the fronts of the greens and whatnot. Everything positioned so that it's a challenge for the good player, but that it's playable for the regular member. You spent some time at Augusta National. Bobby Jones' fingerprints obviously all over that. What did you learn from your time there?
I did. Augusta was a phenomenal experience. It's certainly a place that I grew from and learned a lot from, and continue to take those lessons I learned today. And you brought up a good point about Reese's dad. Reese gave me a signed copy of his dad's book, A Difficult Par, and I really enjoyed that book and learned a lot about golf course architecture. And the things you said are exactly right, and it has to be relevant. And golf needs to be fun. In today's age with golf, it needs to be fun. People need to enjoy the game, and that's what's been exciting, is watching the changes evolve here at Old Florida and around the country. I love going back to Augusta National and watching the changes they make every year to make the course relevant, not only to the professionals, the tour players, but also their members.
So you get to go back every year and be a part of that?
I go back frequently. I went back I was an employee there for 2 years, worked 2 masters, and went back for volunteer a couple times. When I went back after Penn State, I actually lived on property with the current golf course superintendent, Brad Owen. So Brad and I are good friends, and I enjoy going back and spending time. And actually, my current assistant here at Old Florida was an employee there at Augusta National, and he goes back and actually works the tournament every week. So I just go back and visit with friends and be a spectator versus working the golf course in the tournament.
That's still pretty good.
It's a special place. Yeah, when you don't go back for a number of years and you walk through those gates, and it's just, even though I lived on property and worked 7 days a week, when you go back after missing it a few years, you just realize it's a special place.
All right, I ask you a question that I think you know the answer to. One of your more colorful members there. If there's a hurricane brewing off the West Coast, out there in the Gulf, and Mike Ditka is out there finishing the round, and he wants to finish, but here comes the hurricane. Does the hurricane hold off for Ditka?
No, sir. Coach and all our members will continue to play because the golf course is here for them. But yes, Coach and Sonny Jurgensen are both members here. We're being a golf-only facility. We're a club that has members that are golf enthusiasts. So when they want to play golf, they play golf.
Well, you mentioned there's no houses. One thing that happens down there in South Florida is you get a lot of critters. I mean, I'd imagine there's plenty of gators. What else do you have wandering around your property that you say hello to early in the mornings?
Gosh, a load of everything, and I do love walking the golf course each morning that I can, and seeing the wildlife. And Old Florida's special. It's 220 acres, and only 100 of it are actually turf grass. The other 30, there's 30 that are lakes and 90 that are native uplands. So we have a lot of wildlife. I mean, in the ponds, obviously there's fish, and we watch osprey feed on the fish, and eagle fly in periodically in the wintertime. And certainly the alligators love finding the sunshine on the lake banks in the wintertime, and just about everything.
You spent some time at Florida Gulf Coast. It's not too far away. They are a powerhouse in the A-Sun, by the way. I don't know if you follow the basketball program, 11-0. Just running through the conference. Everybody remembers the run to the Sweet 16 a couple of years ago. They became known as Dunk City. I know you played ball in high school. Do you ever go hang out with Coach Dooley and the boys?
I haven't hung out with them personally, but I do enjoy watching the sport and watching FGCU play. And it's a up and growing school, and it's fun to stay involved with them as well. So yes, sir.
We just got a text from one of your members that lives in Chicago. Very cool. Nice to know that people are listening and hearing your voice. That has to be fun. There's one last thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yes, sir.
It says here that one of your hobbies is fishing in the Everglades. That has to be a little bit intimidating. Are you out there in an airboat? Tell me about fishing in the Everglades.
Well, I don't have much time to fish lately, but when I do get a chance, you're right. I do love being out in my flats boat and working the 10,000 islands and trying to catch some snook and redfish. But GCSA has certainly taken a lot of my time in the last few years, and I'm glad it has, because it's an honor to give back to a profession that's given so much to me. And I tell you, I was just blessed when I stumbled on this career back in Tallahassee at Golden Eagle, and feel very passionate about giving back to a profession and industry that's given me such a great life. And as you know, it's a great game, and it's certainly wonderful to be involved with. But that's my getaway. I'm very much a Type A personality, so for me to be able to shut down, I need to be in the middle of the Everglades and watching the osprey and the fish jump and hopefully catching a snook or a redfish.
There you go. A true
Sounds
outdoorsman.
good to me.
Yeah. Darren, we should all be so lucky as to have a guy like you as the superintendent at our course. They're lucky to have you down there at Old Florida. We're lucky to have you as the president of the GCSAA. We appreciate your time.
Well, we appreciate the partnership we have with you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much for what you do.